Good morning, everyone, once again. Tony Stewart is a former tight end with 10 years of National Football League experience with the Cincinnati Bengals, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Oakland Raiders. He was recognized for his work in NFL communities by being nominated for the prestigious Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. Tony is the founder, executive director of Beyond the Locker, an organization that develops youth and athletes in the areas of character, communication, and leadership. He was honored for his work with Beyond the Locker and as a life coach for amateur and professional athletes by being awarded the first ever John C. Maxwell Leadership Award. He and his wife homeschool their children and serve as leaders in their local church. It would be a great pleasure to introduce Tony Stewart.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for Frank, for having me out here today. It's a pleasure. I've been living in the area since 2007 when I moved from Ohio to the Bay Area, and I've been living in San Ramon for the last almost 10 years. So we have 4 children, and my wife homeschools, so family is really important to me. So I can see the different bonds that you guys have, and I've had the pleasure to speak at different Rotaries, and I've worked with my nonprofit in Fremont, California for the last 6 years, and the Rotary there has welcomed our efforts with open arms. So I want to thank you for welcoming me here, and thank you for my Christmas festive.
I think I should give you 3 more for the
Yeah, if I kept it under 14 minutes, would you give me 3 more? All right. I know your time is precious, especially because I know everybody has a laundry list of things to do. But I just want to give you a little bit of who I am. I made my name in communities by just serving, just giving of myself. I started in Philadelphia. I was blessed to be able to be on a team that was a very strong veteran team when Andy Reid was the coach. And I learned a lot about being, giving back to the community, learning a lot about being a father, learning a lot about just understanding what it meant to be a pro. And I had an opportunity to play in Cincinnati for 5 years with the Bengals, and during that time is where I really took that, community-hearted, mantra, or that community-hearted really push. That's where I really had that time to really be a spokesman for different programs. I was a mentor in math, science, engineering programs, and I just connected with a lot of different folks. And I thought I'd live in Cincinnati and ride into the sunset somewhere in the Ohio Hills somewhere. But I had the opportunity to come out here and play for the Oakland Raiders for 4 years. And I forgot to get this out of the way first. Do we have it? I know, so I didn't realize when I first reached out that I was going to be connected with Frank, and he's a Niner fan. How many Niner fans do we have here? Used to be. Do we have any Raider fans in here? This year. This year. We're spoiled in the Bay Area, right? It's like, if the Raiders aren't doing well, we'll take the Niners. If the Niners aren't doing well, we'll take them. And then we'll take the Warriors, right?
Yeah. Mad every so often. Go to Vic's Diner in Pleasanton because he shows up there about twice a week.
Heard it here first.
That's right.
And then we didn't talk about the Giants, right, or the A's, but I'm sure we have a few scattered Giants and A's fans here, right?
No.
I know we have some Dodger fans, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One.
But during my time in the NFL, I really started building and developing this heart to serve community, to serve people. I was a union representative when I was in the NFL for 7 years or 6 years, and watching people develop, giving people the tools to develop was just kind of in my DNA. So when I got kicked out or fired from the NFL after my 4 years with the Raiders, I was lost. I didn't know, I did business management programs at Wharton Business School, at the Stanford Business School. I did 2 internships, one a marketing internship to learn how to run a sports arena convention center in Cincinnati at the U.S. Bank Arena. I did an internship with Eagles Television Network because I thought, I could be on TV and do some commentating and different things like that, but I was lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And thankfully, I had a mentor who actually was connected with my first year in the NFL. And Mr. Norris Williams and I, we stayed connected over my 10-year career. And it was at that time where he had called me during those first 3-4 months of transition. He said, you know what are you going to do next? And I didn't really know what I was going to do next. So he said, let's sit down and let me take you through this process. So he took me through the self-discovery process. I'm sure some of the things that, you guys have come across in your life, personality assessment. We did, personal mission statement, defined my values, understood, to write down my roles and understood how they played a part, what roles should play a part, what roles shouldn't play a part. And at 31 years old, I finally had this core defined of who I was and what I was going to do moving forward. I knew that I gave back. I love giving back to the community. I love watching and seeing people develop. And out of that, Beyond the Locker was born. Seismic, Richter, F4, F5, tropical depression, tropical storm, polar vortex. I love the weather. You can laugh. Go ahead and laugh, get it out. But I love the weather. And when I was growing up, I would tell people that. I love the weather. And they would laugh, just like you. And as a chunky kid that shopped in the Husky section at Burlington Coat Factory, I was self-conscious about myself. I was bullied. I went to a mostly white school, and I was bullied because I stuck out. I didn't really fit in. I come from a mixed background. My dad served in the military. My mom's full German, and I come from a mixed background. And I didn't really feel like I ever fit in here at home, in the neighborhood or at school. I just kind of always felt like I could relate to a lot of people, but I never really had, a group that I said, yeah, those are my people. And as I tried to figure out like what I wanted to do and develop Beyond the Locker, I reached out to one of the superintendents in Fremont Unified School District. And he was actually a volunteer for one of our first events. And after our first event, I asked him, I said, I'd love to do a program in the schools. And he said, okay, let's do it. I said, do you have any questions? He's like, no, I know who your mentor is. I know I've been a part of what you do. And he connected me with Robertson High School, which is a continuation school in Fremont. Now, I started Beyond the Locker because when I was younger, I wanted to be a weatherman. But I was so focused on sports. I was pegged in this locker, if you will. I had this perception that people had. There was this perception people had of me as just an athlete. So I put that dream of being a weatherman in the locker. And when I started working with these youth in Fremont, I realized that they had this perception, these labels that community or people, because are you guys familiar with what a continuation school is?
Yeah.
Right, we have Del Val here.
I was principal there.
Oh, okay, very nice. I just sat down with Principal Avila last week.
Yes.
And had a great talk with him. But I realized that at age 31, after I was done playing 10 years in the NFL, at the top of my height of my career, height of my sport, height of my profession, I didn't know the things that, are important to a person, their mission, their values, understanding their roles. And I said, well, why can't I teach these young people through Beyond the Locker how to develop those things at an earlier age? So as I'm working with these young people at the continuation school, Robertson High School, I'm realizing that they're not very much different than myself. They have different labels and perceptions that people look at them, and they have dreams that they've lost, dreams that they've forgotten because of mistakes they made, situations that they've been in, people they've connected themselves with. And I wanted to give them an opportunity to change the perception of who they are and what they represent and help them to remind them of the dreams that they have. So over the last 6 years, I've been working within Beyond the Locker in Fremont, all over the Bay Area, from Pittsburgh into the Tenderloin, San Jose, East Palo Alto, Alameda, and we've been doing mentorship programs. We've been doing mentorship programs that focus on character, communication, and leadership. And then we also started a parent engagement program because we found it important that we should be sharing the things with the parents in order to really drive it home with the kids. You know, no pun intended. But for me, it's just been a labor of love in who I've been brought up to be. My dad being a serviceman, serving our country, and just being able to have different opportunities to serve. And I realized very quickly in my life that it's important when you start a new venture to surround yourself with good people and like-minded individuals, but people that will also challenge you. So one of the reasons why I reached out to your Rotary Club is because I want to start a program here at Del Valle High School and really be able to influence the students in a positive way, similar to what we've done in Fremont. So I know that it's important to, I guess for me, I wanted to share what I do and just, I don't know if to get your blessing is the right way, but just to walk alongside of you and to say, you know what, I appreciate and I respect the work that you guys do here in the community, and I just want to let you know this is what I like to do and join you in serving your community. So I just started talks with Principal Avila, and hopefully in the beginning of the next year we'll be starting to influence the community and start the mentorship and parent engagement program. So with that, is it all right if I pull up a video real quick?
Sure.
Do I have time for that?
He's got it.
Okay.
We got time. You already know how to do it, so you're already there. No need.
All right.
Good.
I played tight end for the Raiders. I played at Penn State University. I played tight end there as well. I was actually an all-state defensive end, but when I was growing up, I was playing. Who played backyard football in here? Anyone? This thing right here. I tackled somebody and I snapped somebody's tibia and fibia in half, compound fracture, and ever since then I got soft. So I could only play offense after that. Any other questions? Did I miss it? Yes, sir.
What happened to your dream to be a weatherman?
Okay. So I shared that with a group. I was at a men's conference. I shared that in front of about 500 people. And on stage, the moderator was asking me questions about my life, and this is when I was trying to figure out like my purpose and everything like that. And I shared that exact same story about losing that dream. And he looked at me and said, "You know what, Tony, you are a weatherman." What do you mean? Is it because I have the weatherman smile? But he said, no, he said, you're a weatherman because you change the atmosphere of people and places that you meet. So there was so ever since I had that, it's kind of been like my redemption for that dream. And that's what I hope, your dreams, I'm sure a lot of you can attest to this. When you start out, it's not where you're going to finish. And the dreams that you start with will grow and develop the more you feed it. So that's what I really like to help share with these young people.
Tony, how old are your kids?
7, 8, 10, and 12. So 3 boys and a girl. The girl's the 3rd, and we're getting ready to go to South Carolina for a baptism for my niece this weekend. So the trip with Dad coming up.
Sounds like a good bocce team too, don't you think?
Uh-oh, what am I getting pulled?
Don't ask.
Oh, no.
All right. Do we have time for a 3-minute or a 45-second?
3 minutes. And 45 seconds. Good all. And when is it going to start raining?
When is it going to start? I don't know.
Can't say it's possible.
Any other questions that I can answer as this buffer is loads a little
Real
bit?
fast. He was talking about his work with the NFL. He mentioned something within so many years, I mean, like 2 or 3 years, where he said, upon a person leaving, a veteran leaving, the NFL, he used a statistic like 78% were homeless, broke, or divorced. And you obviously are the experience. I don't know if that is accurate in terms of the statistic, but what is your take on that? That issue?
Can I ask who was the gentleman that was the speaker? Does anyone remember?
Stan Hayes.
Stan Hayes. Okay, I don't know Mr. Hayes. I don't believe I know. Mr.
He has some kind of what was the title of, he said you're working with the Broncos, I think, in terms of emotional intelligence.
HAP, H-A-P, Human Acceleration Performance.
He lives up in Napa
Human
area.
Acceleration.
Was he a former player?
No.
Okay. So one of my roles is a transition coach for current and former players. So I work directly with the league office, and I work with guys transitioning out of the NFL and guys who will deal with a lot of those issues. One of the things that someone decided to, I'm sure in your industry or work, somebody has a statistic and you look at that statistic and scratch your head like, where did they get that from? Right? So that's one of those statistics. It's not an accurate statistic. A lot of the issues of, heart disease is one of the biggest killers in the NFL. I think like our society, when someone, there's a tragedy where someone takes their own life, the NFL has a suicide problem. And it's a lot of the societal ills that we face as a society as a whole. The microcosm of the NFL, the percentages are a lot lower than what's in our everyday society. So I work with guys with those type of challenges every day.
Kind of different topic, but still, I think we're talking about it in here, are concussions.
Yes, sir.
And primarily your take on it, from your experience, as well as kind of taking it down to youth, the young kids, the
Yes, sir.
13, 14, 15-year-olds, or maybe even less than that, and doing that kind of thing. Do you have an opinion on?
Well, you're the football coach, am I right? So you probably know way more than me.
I got to ask.
But football, the game of football and football life has given me a lot of opportunities to travel the world, to meet tons of people, stuff that I love to do. And I believe that I've had some trauma, playing 10 years and pounding my head every day. I probably have some trauma to my brain. I have some adhesions and things like that. But I look at where we've come in educating and the new techniques that we have. I think it's awesome. In anything, in any type of profession, or there's going to be growth and there's going to be new learnings. And I'm thankful that with some of the new things that the NFL has implemented, that the concussions have actually gone down a third, 30% over the last 5-6 years is the statistic, is the time frame that they took those measurables. But I think at the youth level, there needs to be a lot more done, a lot more education, a lot more resources given to coaches and to schools. By myself, my kids aren't playing tackle football yet, and if they do, they'll probably play a specialist position. I'd like to, and I don't know what your take is on that, but they're gifted in athletic, so they can play. They can probably pretty much play any sport that they want, and right now they're playing basketball, and they love basketball. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Another sport would be soccer.
Soccer. So my daughter, she plays for Mustang Soccer over in Danville, and they just won a state cup for her age group. So she was pumped about that. But
It's a no soccer zone.
does anybody have a charger?
Charger?
No, just touch it.
Oh, touch it. Okay. Man, you guys are so fancy out here in Livermore.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for the video?
Yes, ready.
Well, Frank told me I wasn't supposed to go on till 8, so I was like trying to let my food digest a little bit. But, all right, let's see what happens here. Good. Couple seconds. So, a little background. I started with I started with Robertson High School, and we do a 12-week mentorship program. For the first 8 weeks, we do a self-discovery, self-awareness, self-worth program. And then I tie in leadership, communication, and character exercises in there. And then from there, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I teach them how to run a life, I call it a active assembly. Teach them how to run an active assembly for an elementary school class. So the high schoolers are running 90 to 95% of this active assembly where they're teaching, doing life skills, they're sharing from their own experience from their self-discovery. The students are running them through drills, they're just encouraging, they're with the students, and you should just see, you know, you guys know the value of serving, but when you get kids that have been written off and been kind of thrown away, it's amazing to see how they grow and how they develop from this experience. So this is kind of the culmination of a year's worth of work, where we did a summer academy with some of those students, and we served about 300 kids on this day in Fremont. We did a partnership with the summer school, and I'm going to stop talking now. Stewart with Beyond the Locker. One of the things we do with Beyond the Locker is we work with high school students, and we work with them within our training camp program. We give them life skills, we help them with communication and leadership skills, and then they work towards our summer academy where we empower younger students in elementary school and junior high to reach for their goals and give it all they got.
I started Beyond the Locker around a year and a half ago. As soon as I started going to more and more, I grew up as a person. I see myself as an adult, no more as a teenager or just a young kid anymore.
It's a really great experience, I think, especially when you see the reactions of the kids and how much they get out of it and how much fun they have. And you teach them a good life lesson, and it's something very valuable.
We just had finished an incredible session with the Beyond the Locker Academy. Our skills competition, we have over 600 students here today, and they go through a series of different drills and different life skills. They learn things from different professional athletes and older youth mentors.
Beyond the Locker has helped me meet more people and not be as shy.
I've been in Beyond the Locker for almost a month now, and it has helped me overcome my fears.
I just think Beyond the Locker was a really good experience for kids at my age going to high school.
I saw kids respond very well to the physical drills, and they were very excited, and it was incredibly engaging.
I could recommend the program more. Tony and his team have been fantastic mentors for these kids, and working with the teachers and the whole staff to bring a fun and engaging program for all of our kids.
This program is about helping students understand how to give it all they got, gauging where they are, the importance of identity and their vision, and learning how to balance that by healthy eating, exercising their mind and their bodies. I'm Tony Stewart, founder and executive director of Beyond the Locker. Beyond the Locker, we are more than sports. So you can check out more information about what we do. One of the things that this is my ask. Once we get things rolling at Del Val, one of the things that is part of the growth process for our students is we share with community members what we've done in the community. For example, Fremont Bank has been a big supporter of us in Fremont, and they've opened their boardroom to us, and we bring the students in, and they just share what their experiences are through the program, and it just gives them an opportunity to grow even more. So Any questions before I turn it back over?
What was your 45-second deal?
Oh. Example, one of the gentlemen from the Rotary in Fremont, he works for Antero Real Estate, and he connected me with the Antero Foundation, and they actually sponsored one of our programs, so the 12-week program, and then we go to one of the elementary schools, and this is the micro camp program where the kids are doing active assembly, and this is just a quick 45-second. Just kind of gives you a feel of the energy that we bring in the hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours at the school. So we've had programs where there's a company in Palo Alto named Adisha. They do shipping and packaging solutions, and I train their 50 national sales force employees on how to run an active assembly, how to run a micro camp, and then we went into East Palo Alto and ran a camp for a few hundred kids, no, about 130 kids. So that was another thing, another way that we run our program. So we've done it, we partnered with local communities and did a big one-day event. So that's our micro camp. Yes, sir.
A question on follow-up. If you have at the middle school or that's maybe elementary school, do you train the people there, the teachers there, that there would be follow-up to what's being presented or learned on that particular day, to carry on when you leave and they're there with?
We don't. So one of the programs that we've done, we've actually gone in. The follow-up was we taught a gym class for 12 weeks, and we took the high school students there and we taught the drills and the life skills on an ongoing basis. And there's plans to develop a program where we can empower the PE teachers to actually teach the life skills and sports drills, but we haven't implemented it yet. So we've been just focusing on the mentorship with the high school students and then giving them an opportunity to serve their younger peers. Yes, sir.
One of my observations has been that, at least at the high school level, is that girls seem more mature and advanced than boys in knowing what they want to do, it seems like. And I don't know if that's actually true or that's your observation, and how do you approach that if that's the case?
So it's been interesting. We've been more 55% female and 45% male with our programs, which was an interesting statistic. I thought there'd be more males in the program, but we don't target. Most of the programs have not been targeted specifically towards athletes. It's been just youth in general, youth development. So we work with schools. The female versus male component, which get it first. For me, it just depends. In my experience, I don't know how it is in different school districts. In my own experience, it's a person-by-person basis. It doesn't really stand out one way or another.
Tony, how do you market this to the kids or advertise to get them excited to come join you?
So our biggest thing has not been advertising to kids. We connect with admin in school districts, and then we work it and implement it. The mentorship program is implemented during the school day. So that's so moving forward, in the summer, we'd like to advertise it to parents that have students transitioning from elementary to middle school, because we find that that's a sweet spot where we lose a lot of kids, and that's going to be advertised in the local community. So it's either going to be in San Ramon or Livermore, so that we do the summer academy. So, yes, sir.
How do you fund this, number one, and who are we, which you're referring to all the time when you speak, not yourself, but who else is involved in it?
So most of our are volunteer based. So I have a team of people that work with me on a volunteer basis. Then I have actually a core people, 2 people, a third, he just moved to Sacramento, that help me and do a lot of this has come out of my heart and what I do. The Stewart Bank funded it for a long time until I could get it.
I figured that.
And that's not a real bank. So I had to learn how to bring people on my team and write grants. So we've had grants from Rotary in Fremont. We've had grants from Kaiser Permanente, Fremont Bank, just different community and individual grants, things like that.
Tony, you're asking for support. Exactly what is it that you want us to do as a Rotarian service organization?
If you could point me in the right direction of anybody that would have a heart to support something like this, that would be great. Whether it's manpower, whether it's resources, but really my goal in being here today was to say, I'd like to do this program. I'm going to do this program in Livermore, and I just would like to let you guys know that I'm going to be around, and I'd love to have you guys involved if you would like to be involved. That was my first. That was my goal today.
I always like to join our club.
Yeah.
We're looking for new recruits in New York. You haven't, huh?
We're looking for a tight end.
You're looking for a tight end? I feel like I'm more like a split end wide receiver now. They make more money.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, sir.
From the Grow Hair Ranch. And one last thing. This is really important now.
I have a lot of people mad at me.
Yeah, that's right. But one person can be very happy.
I figured that takes the probability. You ready? Just the last 3?
Yes, sir.
5, 2, 9.
4, 5, 8.
Oh, that's the wrong number.
There you go.
Oh, Jerry! Anything else for the good of the cause? Don't forget, we're dark next week, 5:30, dinner here.